everybody. It's the old soldier coming at you again from Robinson County, North Carolina. Just outside the little old town of Parkton, where it's cold and frosty. Not quite frozen, but 34 degrees this morning. Enough that you step outside with nothing but your PJs on, you'll wake up real quick. I hope everybody's week has been going well so far. And with that, we'll go ahead and get down to the meat and potatoes, the nuts and the bolts, the grits and the eggs, if you will. Yesterday, actually on the 8th when we put it out, but it was all talked about in the news yesterday, and he made a video cast of it. The worthless governor of North Carolina, Roy Boy Pooper Scooper, this fell in line with the rest of his communist socialist acolytes. He issued a updated executive order regarding stay at home. I'm going to be paraphrasing a lot of it because all that other mumbo jumbo put in there, where it goes whereas and wherein and the who is and the who in. That's how lawyers get, confuse the common folk. But the gist of it basically is stating that businesses and restaurants and churches and gyms all need to close at 10 o'clock at night, stay closed at 5. And that you and me, John Q. Public, need to have our pretty little hind ends parked at home between those hours. I guess because coronavirus is really rampant between 10 and 5. It gets better. Now, the list of exemptions still apply. That's his loophole to basically keep from getting his butt sued. But a new exception, if you will, to the policy was sporting events of a professional or collegiate nature are allowed to continue past 10 o'clock at night. Why? All the other places follow the same social distancing and BS mask mandates. Why can't they stay open longer? But yet if I go to a professional sporting event or a collegiate sporting event, they can remain open and participating beyond 10 o'clock. Why? According to what they put in their little bullcrap executive order, is that the facilities that these events are normally held at have multiple points of ingress and egress, and that means ins and outs. You can go in and out multiple points. And that also that they are extremely well ventilated. Righty then. So you're telling me the likes of, and I don't shop there, but many do, Walmart, Food Lion, most of your department stores, they don't have multiple points of in and out. They're not well ventilated. And oddly enough, they can be open from 5 till 10. But at 10 o'clock, they've got to close. Can't reopen at 5. Folks, it's just an absolute asinine executive order. Why? Because the governor of North Carolina is an asinine idiot. And my friend CodaBoy32, he put a video out on that yesterday as well. You need to go check it out, because he really highlights some points on there. A buddy of mine sent me a meme, and I'm going to keep it more or less clean. But it basically said the rear end of a blue whale can stretch up to 3.5 times its size when it has to defecate. The only thing bigger is Governor Roy Cooper, in the sense of being a you-know-what hole. And actually, he's absolutely right, among other things. Now, I'm going to give you point 2 of why I think this is a BS order and why I think masks don't work. And again, there's going to be some out there that disagree with me about the mask mandates, and that's fine. I've said before, and I'll say it again, if you think you need to wear one, wear one. If you think it's helping you, by all means, I'm not going to tell you otherwise. But I've got my opinions of why I think it doesn't work. And I'm going to tell you one. I had my normal monthly doctor's visit yesterday. Went in to follow up. Well, they called me, I don't know, a few hours before my appointment to tell me my regular doctor would be out yesterday. Didn't think nothing of it. It's not the first time that they've called to tell me that I've got to see another provider in the facility to reschedule to see the one that I prefer. So I went to my appointment. I got there and sat down with my doctor. I said, where is everybody? I said, I've been minding the show for 10 days by myself now. He said, your doctor and the other doctor who work here, they're both out with the coronavirus, along with about 3 or 4 of their staffers. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, last Wednesday I had to shut the whole clinic down. And we did a top to bottom, in and out thorough cleaning, and I even called in the company to do a special type of fumigation. Not that I knew they did anything like that for disinfecting doctors' offices, but I guess they did. My point being is, all of them every time you go in, because that's the only time I wear a mask, folks, is to my doctor's appointments, because if not, they won't treat me. I need my medicines. But if they're catching it, they're all wearing their masks. What point is it to wear one? Somebody tell me. I'm a firm believer in the wash your hands and face. Especially this time of year anyway, because we're now in the heart of flu and cold season. But all the media is going to talk about is this dadgum virus, and people catching it. But again, the whole point of these orders, though, folks, is to keep you from thriving, to keep you cooped up at home, to eventually make you dependent upon the government. I talked about it yesterday, I'm talking about it again. Especially the young lady in California whose restaurant has been told to be shut down by that worthless Governor Newsom. But yet right next door to hers, they're basically setting up an outdoor catering service for a movie set. How is the one all right and the other isn't? I want to say it was Cody Boy that mentioned it. Might have been Glenn Buck. I can't remember which one, but why not hire the ladies' restaurant to cater to the movie service? I think it was in New York. The man was defying the governor's orders and opening. One restaurant owner up there that got arrested. I think it was in the city limits of New York City. Things haven't quite got that drastic here in North Carolina yet. And mind you, this executive order that our worthless governor just passed, modified, supposedly expires tomorrow. I don't care when it expires. It's a worthless order to begin with. As I said yesterday, executive orders are not law. Now mind you, most legislatures within the state's constitutions, even the U.S. Constitution, give the executive branch X amount of power to do X amount of things. But again, at the end of the day, an executive order is nothing more than policy, not law. And that's also where, again, I take issue with the state of North Carolina mandating that these stores and businesses put signs up stating that it's North Carolina law. It's not law. It's an executive order. There is a distinct and profound difference between the two. And again, by keeping us crammed up in places instead of allowing us to live free lives as free Americans, is doing harm to the economy, our livelihoods, and even our mental state of mind. We need to wake up and we need to fight back, America. If I'm told to leave somewhere because I won't wear a mask, fine, I'll leave. But the chances of me doing business with that establishment are slim to none. Right now, I won't go to Family Dollar, at least the one where I live. I'll put it that way. All because of the snide and curt attitude of one of the store employees. I believe she was the assistant manager. This has been months ago. You need to have a mask on when you come in. I just reminded her the governor's executive order says I'm exempt. I have a medical condition. And my wife, if you don't know, has Meniere's disease, and it's caused her to have a hearing loss. And she was talking to my wife, and I just looked at her and said, her too. And she just kind of rolled her eyes. Took my wife by the arm and said, we're leaving. Just leave the buggy right here. She'd already dumped some items. I said, just leave it right there. They'll go put it up. This is why. I said, just come on. Got in the car and I told her why. She said, she really said that? I said, yeah. Now our local Dollar General, Lord, I don't know what I'd do without them. Told them what happened at Family Dollar, and the manager there was like, we have to wear them because the store, the store ownership makes us. But she just looked at me and my wife and said, not my place to tell you to put a mask on, and not my place to tell you not to wear a mask. We put the signs on the door like the state said we had to. And again, she was of the opinion that if it was up to her, she wouldn't have been wearing one. But also that if the state's going to pass this, the state needs to enforce it. And so I'm going to come back to this again that we've talked about this week already. But I feel that it's important. A lot of these Democratic governors issuing these illegal executive orders, these unconstitutional executive orders, these drastic, draconian, tyrannical orders, it's a part of the communist playbook to get your friends and neighbors to rat you out. And they'll do so by any influential manner that they can. These orders about how many people you can have within the privacy of your own home. If I own my home, and I don't care if it's an 8x8 shed, if I want to pack 100 people in it, that's my darn business. If I want to pile a ton of horse manure in my front yard, that's my business. Now, mind you, you have to be respectful of others. And when you begin to do something that infringes upon the rights of others, you've crossed the line. But my point being is, the government has no right to come into my home and tell me how many people I can sit down and break bread with on Thanksgiving Day, on Christmas Day, on New Year's Day. And to try and tell me that if you do have so many people in your home, you need to keep 6 feet apart. The hell with that. My home and my family and my friends. If I want to invite 100 people in and I'll get buck naked and go skinny dipping in a pond on my property, that's nobody's business but mine. But this is what they're trying to do. And we need to fight back. Well, how do we do that, old soldier? I don't have all the answers. But the first one is, if you live in a state where these draconian measures are trying to be implemented, and someone tells you you have to because the governor said so, ask them to show it to you in the state's laws. Most of your stores won't be able to cite that. If your state has passed exemptions, look at the exemption list. See if you meet one of them. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and do something that's going to jeopardize the health and welfare of yourself or your family or anybody else. What I am telling you to do is use a measure of common sense and don't live in fear. They say these COVID cases are spiking and they don't know why. My honest opinion is the CDC numbers have been so skewed from day one, I don't trust what they're saying. And I don't believe that everybody that's presenting symptoms are presenting symptoms of COVID. And why, just a week ago, did the CDC change its quarantine timeline from 14 to 10 days? They don't know what they're doing. And here again, where I take issue with the current sitting president. Why in the world has he not gotten rid of Dr. Fauci? I'd like to know. That's another one that has created more panic than anybody else. And he's done so through the instrument of the mainstream media. Not to mention, again, the ties to the clinic in China where this virus supposedly come out of. You can't tell me his intentions were good and honorable, given the money trail that went to that clinic. The old adage, always follow the money. And I'll be quite honest with you right now, I wouldn't be surprised as to what some of that money has found its way back to these pharmaceutical companies for the development of the vaccine. There's a video of an interview with Dr. Fauci of 3 years ago. And in it, he stated that during Trump's presidency, he would probably encounter a pandemic situation. Might have been a slip of the tongue, might have been done intentionally, I don't know. But again, back to the fight back. I got on a tangent, my apologies. Question executive orders. A lot of these governors are writing them, and they are wholeheartedly unconstitutional. The deprivation to your right to make a living. If you're telling small business owners that they can't remain open, they must close, or they must alter how they do business to a point that it forces them to close their doors and not reopen. There's something wrong. And again, it's all a part of a scheme, a plan. See, and I'm going to close with this. This is the other part, another part of the Communist Manifesto. They don't believe in private ownership of anything. Not business, not property, not even your own home. So what is a good way to obtain these things in a quasi-legal manner? You force them to shut down and go out of business, and then you replace that business or service with a similarly operated service, but operated by the government or a government-appointed entity or agency. And there, they begin to further tighten their grip and control on what you think, what you do, how you act, even down to how you dress. Yeah. A few months ago, there was a video of a group of people that went down to Cuba. They went into a store. They had one aisle, they showed one aisle that was nothing but potato chips, I think it was, or tortilla chips. But it was all the same type, but nothing, row after row after row, shelf after shelf after shelf of the same type of chip. Then they went over to the next side for, I think it was canned vegetables, and it was all the same. The meat department, and when they got there, strikingly and oddly enough, the meat department was lacking. Yes, there was a lack of abundance of fresh meat. Gas. People sitting in lines 2 miles long waiting for gas, their ration of gas. North Korea. Government tells you what you'll wear, when you'll wear it, what's available for you to wear, type of makeup women can wear. Remember that, folks. But until tomorrow, God bless. Take care. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Soldier out.